The whole thing has been rather amazing, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's just a roller coaster ride. Yeah. Trying to figure it all out.
And kind of running against yourself.
Yeah. It's just, you know, you want to just be excited. You remember that feeling of being excited. For me, I remember that feeling of, oh man, we got something special here because I feel so good listening to it. And trying to get that feeling again later down, you know, in life with another record is...
Yeah, recapturing it and taking it even further.
Almost impossible.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost impossible.
But you did it with hard work. I mean, people don't know, and certainly I don't know, except I can read about it, how hard it is because you want it exactly right. You're not just an entertainer, you're a musician. And you have a sense of the history of music, whether it's rhythm and blues or something else.
Yeah. There's so much great music in the world. Every time I write a song, anytime anyone writes a song, they're competing with billions of other great songs. Yeah. So it's that constant battle of how am I going to sing something that no one's ever heard before, or hopefully make people feel something they've never felt before. And at the end of the day, you just want to make yourself proud. If I can be happy with whatever song I write, and I'm genuinely proud of it, it doesn't matter if it gets success or not, because I could say that's the best that I could do. You know what I mean?
No, I do.
Yeah, so it's like if everyone didn't like this album, I would feel okay with it because that's all I got for you.
But someone said his live performance, he wants to make it like a party. You're going to a live party.
Well, that's my cheat code.
Yeah.
For me, it's if I have to do a show every night, there's a lot of things. Let me take it back. I think about, man, I have to perform songs every single night or every other night. I want to write songs that I'm going to genuinely have fun performing. So half the battle is won.
Oh, they don't know. Oh, they don't know. I bet they know it's on the river again. I went to the lakes, designer mix, nigga was running shoes. Don't look too hard, might hurt yourself. Gonna get the color red.
Talk to me a bit about the idea of where you were reaching back to in terms of putting these songs together. Reaching back and giving it a different sound, but the source of it.
The source of it, well, a few of my heroes I actually got to work with this year and some on this album. Babyface, I wrote a song with Babyface on this album called Too Good to Say Goodbye. He's just one of my favorite songwriters of all time. This year I got to work with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, performed at the Grammys with them. Never worked with Teddy Riley, but hopefully one day, hopefully that will happen. And these guys have written songs that I say that were the soundtrack of my childhood.
Right.
And at the time, it was pop music. You know, R&B rooted songs were the #1 songs. Boyz II Men with the #1 song in the country. Mariah Carey, New Edition, all these, you know, this is what I grew up to. This is what we were dancing to at school functions, at a barbecue. It was Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
So that feeling, that emotion I wanted to capture, that's what I was chasing. I think about those songs and it makes me feel like, man, it was fun to dance. It was cool to smile on the dance floor with a girl and flirt with a girl on the dance floor. And I just feel like that was, I don't feel that. And that's something that I would.
That's a sound, isn't it? That's more of a sound than a
It's a lot of things.
Song.
There's a lot of things. It's chords. It's happy chords. What inspired, you know, I'll tell you a story that really inspired me. I worked with my friend James Fauntleroy, who I've known for over 10 years. Incredible songwriter. And we finally got to work together on this project. And he told me he was at a party, and he said, I've never seen anything like this. Everyone was hugging up on the walls and taking selfies of themselves and not really interacting with each other. And then the DJ dropped Outstanding by the Gap Band. And everybody put their phones down. Guys started grabbing girls' hands, and they were singing to them. And he said it was like the most beautiful thing he's ever seen. He's telling me this in the studio while we're making this album, and for me, that was the goal.
That's what you wanted to do.
Yeah, like let's chase that emotion. Let's see if that can happen. Let's see if we can write songs that feel like that.
What's the imagery when you were writing Versace?
You sure I can talk? Are you sure I can talk about that?
Yes,
on
you
TV?
can.
What's the imagery? I was going into the studio wearing just a little backside. You know, sometimes you get into the habit of going to the studio, you start losing yourself and you don't care. You go in there and your hair is looking crazy and you're wearing sweatpants, and sometimes that affects the way you feel creatively. So I said, all right, from now on, we're coming into the studio and we're coming in hot.
Yeah. You
You got to put the best stuff you got on, and you know we're gonna have a challenge of who could be the flyest when they come to the studio. So we start. So I actually wore Versace the day I put on this Versace brand new jacket I got, and it just made it made me feel like I was fancy. It made me feel like I wanted to have some silky Versace sex.
Right.
And the song, the song that you hear today, that's probably the 12th version of that song.
And how did you go from 1 to 12?
That's
the magic.
That's the magic. That's me not being satisfied and saying, like, we had the title Versace on the Floor. It's important that it sounds like that. It needs to sound like that. A romantic, silky sex song.
So in this whole long transformation of pop music, where do you see yourself?
I don't know. My fear is to be put in some kind of box. Yeah. I feel like that's what I've struggled with my whole career. Before anyone ever heard any songs, that was always the problem, is that nobody knew, it felt like nobody knew what to do with me. And my point was to always say, it's not your job to know it. I'm gonna do it because I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I wanna be able to have the freedom to do whatever I want when it comes to music. If I wanna pick up a guitar for one song, then you have to let me see that through. If I wanna dance for one song, then you have to let me see that through. But I got so many ideas in my head that I wanna be able to execute that no one else in the world knows about. So let me just believe that I'm gonna,
Let me do my thing.
let me do my thing. And that's always been the conversation. And I hope that it continues, and I hope that the fans come on a journey with me and are excited. And a little bit of, well, what's he gonna do next?
When you think about all of this, does it change you or simply make you want to make yourself be as good as you can possibly be?
It's really, like we talked about earlier, it's that feeling. I think the most dangerous thing that can happen for a musician is to think that everything you write is good. That's the most dangerous thing, is to lose yourself in thinking like, well, I know what I'm doing. Look how many songs I've written that have been successful. That's when you lose it, and you lose the secret sauce. And to stay hungry and to want to top and remember and reminding yourself of that feeling. For me, I always remind myself what it felt like to finish When I Was Your Man or Locked Out of Heaven or Uptown Funk, and those feelings of like, man, I did it. We did it.
Here's what you said once about this album. You got to hear me smiling.
Yeah.
You got to hear me smiling.
That's the truth.
Because I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
And that thing of me feeling good, if you hear it, then that's what really makes it for me.
That's it. That's really it. Same thing with the performance element. People are smart. They know if you're phoning it in, or if you don't mean what you're saying, or you don't really want to be up on that stage.
You know, you say that so well because somebody once said to me about television, very different than entertaining with music. You got to stand on stage, and everything you do has to say to people, I'm here, I want to be here.
And you're gonna like this.
And you're gonna like this.
Yeah. And that's my motto. That's my motto. So in a way, it's me customizing my world. So it's all, it's a little scary sometimes because every night I have the luxury of seeing people from all over the world, seeing different nationalities under the sun, and I see it. Look at this, we're creating this energy all under one roof, and we're, creating this positive vibe, and everybody's dancing, and it feels like we're all in love, and it's a great night. And then you go to the hotel room and watch the news, and that's not what's happening, So it's tricky because this is. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm creating my world. I'm creating my America. I'm creating what I want to feel every day.